So, hello and welcome everybody to today's webinar, Reduce Your FBA Costs with the Lean Inventory Management. I'm Christoph, I'm Business Director of Pipes here at Data Virtuality. Pipes is a cloud-based data replication tool which enables you to connect to all your data sources out there and automatically retrieve all your data and load it on schedule into your data warehouse. Before we start, I would like to point out that we record this webinar. At the end of the webinar, we would like to provide a quick Q&A session where we answer all your questions. So please don't hesitate to put all your questions in the Q&A section down below during the entire event. In the next 30 minutes, we will talk about the biggest challenges in inventory management for e-commerce businesses when selling through different point of sales or multiple marketplaces and different countries, and using fulfillment services like Amazon's FBA or Walmart's WFS. Of course, we will also talk about how to overcome these challenges and benefit from the solutions in the long term. With me today is Drew Lewis, the COO of SMNutrition, as our guest speaker. I'm very glad that we were able to get Drew on this topic because not only his years of e-commerce business experience, but also his data-driven approach on optimizing operations on SMNutrition and help his company to grow impresses us a lot in the past and still today. So before we start, let's have a quick introduction of Drew himself.
Awesome. Thanks, Christoph, and thanks for having me. Like Christoph mentioned, I'm the COO of SMNutrition. We're a supplement and vitamin company that's purely e-commerce. We do a lot of our sales through channels like Amazon and Walmart. We started in 2011. We launched a single product, being our DIM, and to this day, we are the leading DIM provider on Amazon. We're really hormone balance focused. We had an initial 11 products dating back to 2011. And as we grew in 2018 and 2019, we decided to expand our product line to introduce products more in the general wellness space. So in 2019, we added 30 new products. We added another 13 products in 2020 and another 14 products in 2021. We also expanded internationally. So we moved off of only selling on Amazon US and through Shopify being our website, to platforms like Walmart and eBay, as well as Amazon UK and Canada. So continue to grow our product line, continue to expand into other marketplaces. So we've seen tremendous growth, and a lot of it was because of tools that we're going to talk about in this webinar. So thanks again for having me, and excited to jump in.
Thank you very much, Drew, for the quick introduction, and yeah, thanks for your time and supporting us with this webinar. So let's start with the actual topic for today and dive deeper into it. Drew, please tell us a little bit more about the challenges SMNutrition was faced when selling via multiple point of sales in different countries and different marketplaces.
Yeah, absolutely. So as Christoph mentioned, as we continue to grow and we continue to increase our product line and we launch on different marketplaces, without a system where you own your data and aggregate and pull that data together, it's very difficult to track sales trends and inventory across these different marketplaces. It's a very manual process. It's a lot of logging in to different accounts and downloading reports or doing requests fully ad hoc, which is very manual and time consuming. We did in 2019 develop a very simple inventory system solely through Google Sheets. It was not very dynamic, so as we continued to scale, so we added different marketplaces or continued to increase our SKU count, it was difficult to update the sheet based on how it was built. We did partner with one company where we connected to Amazon's API, but we were only pulling in Amazon data at a very aggregated level, so not a very granular view of the data, and it was Amazon only, so it did not include marketplaces like Shopify, Walmart, and eBay, so it was difficult to marry that data. Again, it was very aggregated and often incorrect, so we spent a lot of time auditing the data on a daily basis to ensure that we were looking at the correct, most up-to-date version of the data to make the decisions that we needed to make. all of our purchase order data was completely separate from our inventory data. So it was a lot of going back and forth between multiple sources to make sure that we understood the relationship between purchase orders and inventory and sales trends. And then tracking inventory was very manual and time consuming. When you're looking at 70 products across 8 or 9 different marketplaces, understanding where the inventory was at any given point through all the different fulfillment centers. So to sum it all up, very time consuming, very manual. And then Amazon, as a response to the pandemic, introduced the concept of restock limits, which any Amazon seller on the call is fully aware of, right? So it was restrictions at an ASIN level. So you're talking about 70 products, multiple marketplaces on Amazon, being able to pull in those limits to understand what do I need to send versus what will Amazon allow me to send at the ASIN level. The tools that we built allowed us to get through that 2-year stretch, and I'm very happy that that's over.
All right, thanks for the for this, and yeah, that sounds really challenging. And what I understand is that besides the recurring manual effort for you and your colleagues gathering all relevant sales and inventory data, analyze it and prepare it before, the most or the main challenge was to monitor the inventory stock levels in your own data, in your own warehouse, and also in Amazon's fulfillment centers. And so to also utilize the fulfillment centers in the most efficient way.
Absolutely.
For FBA beginners too, could you maybe stick for a minute on why it's so important to have an efficient utilization of the fulfillment centers?
Yeah, absolutely. So Amazon's very high on utilization and IPI scores. And so we want to make sure that we really have 2 things. We want to avoid having excess inventory in fulfillment centers, which will drive down your IPI score and essentially lower your account level limits. At the same time, we want to avoid stockouts on our top selling ASINs, right? So avoid excess inventory at the same time avoiding stockouts. So making sure that the utilization at an ASIN level, at a marketplace level, a region level stays at that optimal level for sure.
All right, got it. Thanks for this. What was the main prerequisites for overcoming these challenges sustainably and in the long term for you and SMNutrition?
Yeah, it's a great question. The prerequisites for us was being able to connect to every single marketplace that we sold through. So rather than only looking at a single data set or a single source or a single marketplace being Amazon, we wanted to ensure that we understood sales trends across every marketplace that we sold, where inventory was across every location or region that we were housing that inventory, and how everything related. We wanted to make sure that we owned our data at the most granular level of that data. And we wanted to ensure that the integrity of the data was very high. So as we look to build this solution, we wanted to be able to connect to sales, inventory, and shipping data across every point of sale that we sold through. We wanted to make sure that we gathered sales data at an order level. Again, that granularity allows us to measure things like subscribe and save percentage of sales. So being able to understand, through Amazon, what is our percentage of sales on a reoccurring basis versus organic sales that happened that day. So when we went to build this solution, build this overview, the goal was track sales data across every platform, monitor inventory levels across every location, and then marry purchase order data, all available within the tool within a single place. So that's really what we set out to design, and that's what we've not only built but been running our company on for going on 2.5 years.
All right, that's a really interesting approach. So especially the core of your solution, the monitoring dashboards and the operations overview you mentioned, would you be able to show us these dashboards and how you work with it?
Yep, absolutely. I will share my screen.
Yeah, let's stop my screen sharing.
Awesome. So this is essentially the solution that we built in-house using data that we've gathered through data virtuality, stored in our data warehouse being Google BigQuery. And then this was actually built through Microsoft Power BI. So it's a business intelligence consumption tool that allows us to pull the data in, aggregate and relate the data, and then produce it in a very consumable way. So what this view allows us to do is see how are individual products trending from a sales perspective over a period of time. So whether I'm looking at 30 days, I can simply change this to 120 days to see a different view. I'm able to see how those sales are trending across marketplaces, what percentage of sales occurs at a marketplace level. I'm even able to drill down and see all this data at a SKU level. I'm able to see based on specific manufacturer and specific product lead times and the buffers that we want to maintain at a SKU level, when we need to place a new PO and what those POs need to be, again, based on daily averages. I'm able to slice and dice this data by marketplace, so I can see all of this data specific to Amazon US, or I can see it specific to Amazon Canada. Maybe I want to dive over and look into the UK. So this allows us to get a very high level view. I'm able to see percentage of subscribe and save at a daily level. I'm also able to dive in. So this is sales data. I'm now able to dive in and see inventory across all of our platforms. So how many units do I have in Amazon US fulfillment center compared to a Canada, compared to a UK? What do we have at a Walmart fulfillment center here in the US through the WFS program? What inventory do I have sitting at a manufacturer versus sitting at a warehouse that we have here locally in the US? What SKUs are not allowed in that specific country based off the laws and regulations in that country? This replenish inventory allows us to say how many days in stock do we want to maintain in these fulfillment centers. So we have it defaulted to 60 days. I can change this and say, we want to be a little bit heavier leading up to Prime Day. So I can say I want to have a 90-day in stock, and this will let me know how many units I need to send to hit that mark. This is also where we had those restock limits feeding in. So we're able to say, we need to send 7,000 units of this particular SKU, but Amazon's limiting us to 5,000. So this fed the information to our warehouse team to understand what we need to send in versus what we're able to. And then a quick view into the days in stock that we have, again, based off of the inventory in that specific marketplace, coupled with the sales trends in that marketplace. We're also able to, again, see purchase order data, all married in within the tool. So we're able to see the supplier and SKU information, purchase orders that are open or complete. We're also able to dive in and look at all of this data specific to a product. So this is one of our gummy products that sells pretty well across multiple marketplaces. We're able to dive in and for us very specific SKU, see what the platform priority is or what the sales trends are at a region level. How does this perform from a subscribe and save versus an organic sale? Where is inventory across every platform that we sell through? Is it restricted in any company? And then what purchase orders are open for this SKU? So again, the goal was being able to marry all of this data in one place to be able to consume it and relate the data. And this is what allows us to manage inventory and sales trends across every marketplace that we sell through.
Oh, awesome. That's really impressive. Thanks for showing this. And so you established this inventory management system and this sales performance monitoring system, and shared with your colleagues, with your fulfillment team and other departments in your company, that they are able to play around with always up-to-date data, make ad hoc analysis, derive actions for their daily business. So this is pretty awesome. This is what I call a data-driven approach, definitely. Let me share my screen again. And what infrastructural measures have you taken to build such a comprehensive system?
Yeah, absolutely. So what are the prerequisite skills kind of needed to dive into this? So again, the biggest thing that we wanted to get out of this was we wanted to have ownership of very granular levels of the data. So again, sales, inventory, and shipping data. This was the first thing that we wanted to accomplish. So being able to pull this data, house it in our data warehouse, and then build tools like this, which I'll get into in a minute, kind of what it takes to build a tool like this. But really the first step for us was identifying that partner to reach out and give us that connection to the endpoint to be able to pull that data into our warehouse. So Data Virtuality was that partner. We did our due diligence and kind of vetted multiple partners, and Data Virtuality ended up being the partner that we chose for multiple reasons. One of the biggest reasons for us was that they natively had connections to all the different marketplaces that we specifically needed. So a lot of the partners had access to Amazon, but maybe they were missing Walmart or Shopify or eBay. So Data Virtuality already had those pre-built connections that we needed. They integrated with the data warehouse that we personally wanted to use. Being a smaller to mid-sized company, Google BigQuery is a really cost-effective data warehouse, so we wanted to be able to work with a partner that integrated with that solution. Data integrity is huge for us. So again, the prior partner that we were using to connect to the Amazon API that gave us that aggregated data, the integrity of that data wasn't always very high. We had to do a lot of audits and actually change the data after it was imported in. So we did a lot of audits and a lot of diligence as we partnered with Data Virtuality, and the integrity of that data really met our expectations. And then the customer service with Data Virtuality has been great. So as we've run across additional needs, so maybe we needed a field from a table within Amazon that wasn't native to their templates, we were able to work with their team to pull in the data that we needed, assuming that it was available in the API. And then we essentially built this overview of Microsoft Power BI, which is just a consumption tool. It's a really good one that really integrates very well with a lot of different endpoints.
All right, thank you, Drew. So it seems that the basic prerequisite for such a data-driven approach on an inventory management is the data itself. So the more granular, the better. I would like to present now how everyone is able to build this one reliable source of data with our data replication tool Pipes. This is Pipes, how it looks like when nothing is configured yet, and it shows the 3 needed steps to configure a consistent data pipeline between your data source, for instance, your Amazon Seller Central account, and your data warehouse as the destination for all your data. We have to connect the data warehouse, we have to connect the data source, and we have to configure a data pipeline between both. So let's start to connect the data warehouse. For demo purposes, I would like to connect to Google BigQuery. It's the same as Drew mentioned he uses at SMNutrition. For this, I'm clicking on the self-connecting wizard, type in the, I need my project number, type in the project number and the data set name, and use the Google authentication to connect to my Google BigQuery and grant Pipes access to the data set. This happens now. And as we can see in the dashboard, the Google BigQuery is connected. And with a quick view in the data set demo CB, we can see it's empty yet. So now let's connect the Amazon Seller Central account by using also one of our connecting wizards here for the Amazon Selling Partner API. Here we can give the source a name. I will leave it as it is, Amazon SP. Choose my seller region where I'm selling products and choose the marketplaces, United States and Mexico, for instance, and use the Amazon authentication and get redirected to my Amazon seller account where I can grant Pipes access to. Now I'm getting back to my Pipes dashboard where we can see in a couple of seconds here that the data source is also connected. And now we have the chance to have a deeper look into our Amazon data connector and also in our templates. The pre-built templates, with the pre-built templates, we bundled meaningful related metrics. And with this schemas, the data will be stored in your data warehouse. You can have a look into, for example, the FBA free preview report and what's in, and can decide if these are the metrics you are looking for. Let's build a data pipeline between Amazon and your Google BigQuery by clicking on jobs, choose the data source. And here you find again a list of all templates provided. For demo purposes, I choose the all listings report template. Select again the marketplaces I'm selling on, US and Mexico, for instance. Click next. Here I'm able to give the pipeline a title. I will leave it as it is with Amazon, SP, report, or listings, and can select the frequency with which the data should be retrieved from Amazon Seller Central account into my Google BigQuery. I will choose every morning at 6 a.m. so that I have fresh data every morning when I start working. I can also use the advanced scheduling and scale this down up to every 30 minutes, for example. But let's stick on every morning at 6 a.m. On the right side, you can see again the parameters in the table, the structure of the table, how it will be stored in the BigQuery, and the table preview, if it's loaded here, how it will be stored in the data warehouse. Here you can check again if all metrics are in. Click on Create Now, and the pipeline is executed immediately. Now we can see again, we connected the destination for our data, the data source. We have several of them. We build data connectors for more than 200 platforms and services out there. And we build a data pipeline between both. Have a last look into our Google BigQuery and refresh it. Yeah, welcome to German internet. This is one of the few things we can't improve. Here you see the table and the desired data. When the job is done. Let's have a look in the, it's still running. And here it is. And this way you always have up-to-date data on your Amazon business in your data warehouse. You can also connect to, as Drew said, eBay, Walmart, and more data sources out there, and can store everything here in your data warehouse or in more than 15 other relational cloud-based databases to access this data with your BI tools to feed your business intelligence operations. All right, let's get back to our presentation. And Drew, at the end of this session, could you please tell us a bit more about how SMNutrition benefits from this solution and this lean inventory management system?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a Yep. So when we built this, we had, at the time that we built this, we were really struggling with purchasing excess inventory. At the same time, we were stocking out of very important SKUs that matter. So what this did, being able to track inventory and sales trends and marry that data together along with purchase order information, allowed us to completely decrease or honestly completely eliminate excess inventory. At the same time, we avoid stockouts. This initially saved us over $600,000 directly tied to excess inventory and stockouts, and it also saved us 80 hours per week by removing those manual tasks that we were doing at a daily basis. This will also allow us, because of the level of granularity of the data that we have, along with the additional templates that Data Virtuality has at a marketplace level. The next project is to build a similar report to really monitor overall company health. So we're going to be using things like orders and inventory tables that we're already using and marry that data with settlement reports, ad data, things like that, to be able to really have a pulse on financials, year over year and month over month growth, be able to look at profit margin and COGS, be able to understand ad spend, which is another connection that Data Virtuality has access to, look at things like subscribe and save growth over time. And then very similar to how the report that we've already built works, we'll be able to view all of this data at a marketplace and a SKU level. So that's kind of the next phase of this. But again, owning that level of granularity of your data allows us to build tools like this and allows us to So honestly, allows us to scale and launch products and enter new markets without missing a beat.
All right, that sounds like a really beneficial and valuable solution you built here out of granular data. Yeah, thank you, Drew, for presenting us your challenges, how you overcome it, and what are the results of it. It sounds really impressive to me, and I guess also to our audience. With a look at the time, I would like to read some questions I received. So one question which is really interesting is, can you give a rough cost estimate for the infrastructure you presented?
Yeah, absolutely. So all the costs that are tied into this tool really boil down to just three things. We have the data virtuality plan that we chose to go with. So it's based off of the number of marketplaces and connections that you need. We have our Google BigQuery cost, which is, again, very cheap relative to the amount of data and querying that we do. And then we have a third cost being the licenses tied to Power BI. So really taking those three cost elements in, we're spending roughly $7,000 a year, which is, $550 to $600 a month. So relative to the other options out there that we've met with, that a lot of, there are pre-built solutions out there that really aren't tailored to a company. They're really a one-size-fits-all. A lot of times they don't have access to all the marketplaces. So being able to build this in-house allowed us to, one, tailor it to our company, be able to build the measures that we believe are important to monitor sales trends and inventory, and do it all for roughly $7,000 a year.
All right, that sounds good, especially when I compared with the slide before, So
absolutely.
Another question is, what is necessary to create such a dashboard in Power BI? Any special skills, coding, etc.?
Yeah, I would say the most important skill or understanding when you're looking to build something like this is just having a general understanding of data modeling, how tables relate to one another, understanding the differences in a dimension table versus a fact table, relational databases, and just understanding in general how data relates and integrates with other data sets. At the same time, like SQL is a great language to know. It's not necessarily required, but what we try to do is a lot of the heavy lifting from an ETL perspective in Google BigQuery. So we do we write a lot of SQL to join tables and really filter the data, so that the heavy lifting is at the data warehouse level versus bringing it into Power BI. But you're certainly able to do that. You're able to do full ETL processes fully within Power BI without knowing SQL. And then the final thing is just understanding the syntax of the consumption tool that you're using. So Power BI is a great one. It's personally my favorite, but there's other solutions out there like Tableau or Google Data Studio. For Power BI specifically, it's just understanding two languages. There's an ETL language called M that allows you to pull in the data, and you're really cleaning and transforming the data to get to a data set that you want to work from. And then there's DAX, which is a formula measure driven language that allows you to take the data that you've cleaned and write measures against that data to deliver the results or deliver the output that you want to consume. So I would say data modeling is number one, SQL is nice to have, and then understanding the languages in the consumption tool that you end up choosing to consume the data.
All right, thanks. Maybe one last question with view on the hour. So maybe you already answered this partially, but have you ever used an out-of-the-box solution for at least one sales channel, and if so, which ones?
Yeah, we have not used one. We actually, prior to building this in-house, we met with multiple companies and kind of talked to them about our needs. They presented the solutions that they had. They were all very, very expensive. I think the most expensive was $100,000 a year compared to the 7 that we've been able to build. It was a very robust tool, and it would have been great, but just didn't make sense for the size of our company. At the same time, it still had limitations and didn't get us fully what we wanted. So there are great out-of-the-box solutions out there, but one, you're gonna probably pay a premium for those. And the question to ask is, are they able to tailor their solution to your specific company needs? So being able to build it in-house has saved us money and allowed us to build something specific for our company.
All right. All right, that was it with our question and answer session, and we are perfectly in time. Perfect. So again, thank you, Drew, and yeah, thanks for this very good, very valuable presentation. And I thank all of the attendees out there also for your questions. And I hope that you learned as a lot as I did. And yeah, I wish you all a nice day and see you.
Awesome. Thank you, Christoph.
Thank you. Bye-bye.